Hey, I'm Dawn. I'm here with Carol Lake of Carol Lake Studios.
Hi, everybody.
We're glad that you're able to join us today. And hi. So it looks like the broadcast was interrupted there, so bear with me. I'm sorry about that again. So we are here with Carol Lake. This is part of a 3-part series, the final part, inspired by the project for the Abenaki Trails project called Ancestors Inspire Modern Abenaki. And Carol's going to show us a little bit more. And I just want to give a shout out because this project is made possible by a grant from the New Hampshire State Council on the Arts and the National Endowment for the Arts. All right, Carol, it's all you.
Okay.
Oh.
Ready?
Let me just turn the camera around here. All right, here we go.
Hi, everybody. So what I thought I'd do today, and Dawn, if you have any questions about the project, sorry about that, that's typical, to just shout out and let me know. So what I thought I'd do, the project itself, again, as you mentioned, is called a bas-relief sculpture. And that's a funny word. There's different types of sculpture. One is sort of flat with a very low relief. Mm-hmm. One is also flat with a little bit of a higher relief. That's called an haute relief, H-A-U-T-E, or high relief. Okay. And there's the low relief, which is what I'm doing, which is the bas, B-A-S. It does look like that, absolutely. So there's that, and then there's sculpture in the round, which is what we're all very familiar with. So, but what I thought I might do is give you a brief example of how a bas-relief is put together, because many people have never even heard of a bas-relief before. It's not as common as sculpture in the round.
So Carol, I just want to pause you just for a moment. Yeah. So for all you guys watching, I just want to invite you to add your questions in the comments, and as they come in, we'll, do our best to answer them. So get those questions in there. All right, Carol, back to you.
Okay, so what I've got here, John, I don't know if you can turn here. I can move this.
Yep.
We're sort of in cramped quarters here. This is another example of, this is actually in plaster. This is a bas-relief sculpture. See how it's fairly low? There's no totally three-dimensional pieces. It's just a little bit off of, if you look at it from the side, you can see how it's just low relief. Mm-hmm. And this is the final product of that low relief. Now, how I make that is a little different. So what I would start with, and how I started the Abenaki sculpture, and we'll link a video to that as well, I believe, right?
Yep.
So you guys can see the process and the progress on that. So far, it's almost done. So excited.
That's awesome.
What I would start with now there's a couple of different types of clay. Actually, there's lots of different types. I was telling Dawn earlier, this is paper clay, and I don't know if you can see that, but see how it sort of is rough in the middle there? It doesn't have what's called plasticity. That's because there's actual fiber in there, and some paper clay is made with different types of fiber. This is purchased paper clay. Now you can make your own as well. A lot of people use toilet paper.
What, really?
Yeah, because it softens up really quickly. So my clay comes to me in 25-pound lugs. And actually,
yes, it does.
Yeah. So now you can also, and if we can, I'll show you the wild clay that I've collected as well. But the reason we, and I say we as sculptors and we as ceramicists, use purchased clay is because we know what we get every time. There's no surprises. All those surprises have been worked out by the ceramics company way in advance. So this is another type of clay, and this is actually called B-mix. Now it doesn't have any paper in it. You see how it's smoother? There's no rough
it's a lot
edges.
smoother.
Right. Now this one is a red clay, and I use this for my plates and my vessels and that sort of thing. I also have a white, it's called a B-mix, which it actually has porcelain clay in it, which is another long story. But so the clay that I'm using I've seen surrounded by, this is old clay. Potters and folks that work with clay never throw away your clay. We always hold on to it and we reclaim it because we can always make something with it. Do I have any red here? No, that's all. That's all. I don't need that. Well, I'll use the paper clay for the demonstration. So, what I did with the Abenaki sculpture, it's on a large board, and that board actually has screws nailed in it every 3 to 4 inches around the whole thing. Otherwise, if I just put clay on, it does that.
Yeah.
So the nails or the screws actually serve to hold that clay right onto the board. Now, this that I created with the Abenaki sculpture is not going to be fired, right? It's not going to be put into a kiln, so it doesn't matter that there's screws in it. It doesn't matter at all. So that will never be picked up and fired in a kiln. It will actually, we'll be making a mold, and this is this weird wobbly thing. Is an example of a mold. So I poured this mold. It's like a latexy, rubbery thing. There's lots of different types of molds. That was just the one I chose to use for this one. There's lots of reasons for choosing different molds too. But you can see that this is a negative of the little girl and her pony over here. So it's the same thing, but it's in reverse.
Yeah.
So I made the original, and the original would have looked like this. It's called a positive in clay. And then I poured the mold, which solidified and turned into this weird goober thing, which I can use a number of different times. It doesn't last forever, but I can pull some other finished pieces off of it. So then I would put this on a level surface and pour whatever casting material I was using. In this case, it was plaster. Let that set, and then you come up with the final positive. So it goes from a positive image to a negative to a positive. And the Abenaki sculpture will be doing the same thing. So in other words, it won't be in the kiln, it won't be fired. I will make a mold of it. That's the next step. And then that mold will be released, and that's the second positive that would be placed.
What do you mean it'll be released?
You just pull it out. You pull the mold off of the original pour. So
Oh, nice.
that's all. So the Abenaki piece will be what's called bonded bronze, and bonded bronze looks like bronze. You won't be able to tell the difference at all when you are up to it. It'll even if you rub on, if you rub on a bronze sculpture, like there used to be a cute little turtle and a little boy downtown in Concord, and everybody would rub
Oh,
them,
yeah.
and it gets sort of shiny and
Yeah.
a pretty bronze color. from
Yeah, like that
everybody's
patina
hands.
almost.
Patina, exactly.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
the word. So it will still have that aspect to it because bronze powder, actual bronze powder, is added as what's called a face coat onto the mold, and then the resin gets poured onto that. So while it is resin, it also has the bronze on the top part of it when it's flipped over. So you, as a regular layperson, would not notice a difference. So it is weather resistant. It is it's not as heavy as bronze, but it's substantial. Plus it will have that patina as well. So it's sort of a nice compromise because, as everybody knows, the cost of metal these days is just skyrocketed, and it's just prohibitive. It's crazy expensive. So
Yeah.
it's not as expensive, and yet it has the same look and feel to it. So.
And that's nice because it sounds like it's durable as well.
Yeah, it is. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm going to get my floppy mold over here. And I just wanted to show you, grab some clay. So imagine that this has little nails all over it to hold this up. I'm going to work upside down. So basically, this is all I do. Right? So that's all I'm doing is I'm putting clay on a board, and I put like a substrate down of clay, like an initial layer. So you've got something to work with. So like that. And yes, it does dry out, and that's my biggest concern with the sculpture, is keeping it from drying out. That's my goal is to, and we're almost there. I've got it another week or so before it's done, and then I can start the mold process.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited too. So say this was, you know, and it can be any shape and any size. You get to choose. That's what's so cool about art. So let's see. So we'll do, so I lay down another lump, lay down another lump. Pretty technical terms, huh? Lump. I'm going to use a lump. So, and it doesn't matter really what clay you're using for this, because again, you're not firing it. You don't have to worry about what it's going to look like. There we go. So we get to there, and they're like, there's only so much your fat fingers can do, right? No offense if you have skinny fingers. So, I got all these cool things, little pokey things, right? And you can choose, again with the choice, huh, what you want to use. So let's see, you know what I use a lot of, but not quite yet. I don't have it, you know, like naturally I don't have them in here. Dental tools, old, not that have been clean. So, anyway, my former dentist used to, and I don't think they let you do that anymore. So. But I think you can buy them. But these are really nice. I love these wooden ones because they feel good in your hand.
Is that something you made?
No, I'm not that talented. So, no, you can buy these. They're just sculpting tools. Let's see, you can get in there.
I'm just going to zoom in.
Yeah. Now, mind you, I'm working upside down, so I don't really know what I'm doing. But see how you can dig in there. And again, the paper clay is not probably the best to use for bas-relief work. It was just handy. Hey, there you go. Because it's a little rougher than other clays. You can't get the detail that you could with, say, like a porcelain clay. But you can see that you can start to make an image out of it. Start. I use that term loosely. Especially upside down.
Sometimes artwork surprises you because you end up with a completely different end result than what you set out to do.
Always. So anyhow, just to give people an idea of the process and how you do it. And maybe we could make a video in the barn in the sculpture studio of me working on the actual. So that just gives you an idea. And then you continue to progress with it, you know, make it better and better. So, but in this instance, you can just do this. So, do you want me to show you the tiles, that process? Because there's another.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Another. So, what angle works best for you? But
you just do your thing.
Yeah. So this is. There you go. Imagine this is wet clay, and it was the original, and then I would make a box around that, and then I'd pour plaster into it, and I would get this, again, this is a positive, and then I would get this negative.
Okay.
You can see how sometimes it's hard to tell with a photo, but those marks go in. So I'm going to wad up my paper clay. Again, paper clay is probably not the best to use for this, but, so this is called a press mold. And a press mold is something that has been in use for millennia. Ancient people would have used press molds. And Dawn, you asked me earlier, what's the point of using a press mold? And it's really, it's a good question. It's really so that you can make multiples of something. So.
Look at the precision on that, even though you're just pressing the clay in.
Yeah, and again, this is the paper clay, so it doesn't pick up the details as well as some of the other clays might.
Yeah.
And it's a little dried out. But this is how tiles are made in many countries. They still make tiles this way.
And what did you say that this one was made out of?
This is fired clay. So this is clay, just regular wet, it's like a porcelain base clay. So, and the biggest issue with flat things is keeping them flat. They like to dry. It's really interesting because clay has a memory. Clay will remember where it's been rolled or where it's been pushed or where it's been pulled, and the molecules, the molecular structure of the clay want always to go back to that original form. So it can be frustrating when your tiles go up like this. So that's always a
So how do you uncurl the tiles then?
Well, the point is not to let them curl to begin with. So yeah, that's the struggle, is keeping them flat. There's lots of different ways depending on what type of tile you're using. but I usually put them between two pieces of, I can show you, so exciting, two pieces of drywall, like this, and then it'll dry flat. So,
Oh,
yeah.
that's neat.
Yeah, it depends, and the drywall usually will absorb enough of the moisture, but not too much.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to loosely touch on this type of clay. So this is a little bit different. This is an oil-based clay, and that means that if I fired this, it would turn into liquid. I mean, it would turn it, and actually some people work with this oil-based clay in a liquid form. You can heat it up on like a double boiler, or you can heat it up in a microwave. They have special hot boxes with a big heat lamp over it. I have worked with this. My issue with oil-based clay is amazing because it's really hard, and you can get different hardnesses of it.
Mm-hmm.
But the issue, well, you can get incredible, like car manufacturers make car models out of this type of clay. Yeah, the detail is unsurpassed. My issue with it is I don't like the smell. I don't like the feel. It's plasticky. It's oil-based. It's petroleum-based. And something in me just doesn't like it. I don't like how it feels. It doesn't have a freedom, a looseness, an earthiness. It doesn't have a connection to spirit. It's a dead. I don't know how to explain that.
Almost like inert.
It is inert. That's a good word.
Yeah.
For it. It's inert. It doesn't have. There's no soul to it. There's no feeling. Clay always has a voice. Clay speaks. So.
Why don't we take a look at the wild clay that you were showing me
thank
earlier?
You for reminding me. Yeah. So this is from my brother's house, and it looks pretty skeevy, huh? Hold on, let me pour some water out. Yeah, sorry, watch your toes.
I know, it just rained a lot yesterday, so there's a lot of water in there.
So this is something that the Abenaki people would have used. I guarantee it. Not that I'm an expert at all.
Wild Abenaki clay right
wow,
here.
Does it smell bad? It smells bad because there's sulfur in it. See all the different beetles. See all the different detritus that's in it. It's all leaves and slimy old things, probably dead bugs. You know, who knows what. All sorts of goodies. But that's how it comes out. This was just underneath the sand in a pond.
Wow.
And so the issue with this is once you've got it cleaned, and you can sieve it and filter it and clean it so you have all the goobery things out of it, but you still never know how it's going to fire. So that's unlike the clay that I purchase, where I know every time.
So it's a little more unpredictable.
It is unpredictable, but it also, because it's unpredictable, it's really organic, literally, and has spontaneity to it, which is, a treasured virtue in anything artistic.
Now, you were talking about clay having like a spirit or a soul.
Yeah.
How can you tell?
You just feel it. You just know. You just know. You pick it up and you feel it. It talks to you. I know, I'm a crazy artist, So when you hold the clay from your brother's backyard, that wild clay, how does it feel to you? It feels, I ask it what it wants to be, and it tells me. I ask it. You give reverence to it, you speak to it speaks to you, you allow it to have a voice. So it has a conversation.
Brilliant.
It's not just me. It's not just me telling something what to do. It's a combination. It's a voice together. So that's what's kind of cool about clay.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
I don't know, sometimes it tells me to do weird things. So.
Like what?
Oh, just weird animals that are. I often will pick up something. I'll pick up some clay and I'll intend to do something with it, but no, it decides to do something else. So, and sometimes it breaks. Sometimes it doesn't turn out, and you just have to sort of roll with it. It's not always bunnies and butterflies. So.
But we do have some of those as well. Why don't we take a look at the plates
You're so good.
that you've been working on?
Get this mother clay off of me here. Yeah. Okay. So, plates, that's right. Plates, and then we'll talk about other sculptures. Oh,
And maybe mention the glaze too.
yeah, thank you for reminding me. So, this is my latest batch of, this isn't sculpture, but it is in a way because I hand make each one of these plates. And then I print these little guys on here.
Close up here.
Yeah.
I love your drawings. They're
Thank
so
you.
neat.
Thank you. They come from the same place the clay comes from. Whoever is, it's not me. I'm a vessel, you know, just a conduit. So all of these guys are made. I'll show you. Now these were done with B-Mix, which is the porcelain, not the paper clay. The paper clay I love to use for my sculptures, and we'll get back to that, remind me. So when I'm making a plate, again, this is how my clay comes in these big, ginormous bags. Am I using it too much time?
You're okay.
Because I can talk forever about this, mind you. So it comes out of here, and that's really too small. There, see, it's a big sticky wedge. It doesn't look like anything, does it?
Not really. Just a huge hunk of clay.
Exactly. So we take this handy dandy tool and cut it like that. And then there.
Oh.
Over here. No, exciting times.
Is that the beginning of a tile, I see?
Well, it could be. It could be the beginning of anything. That's so cool. Okay, so I'm going to take this and watch your fingers. This is like a Batman scary, you know, torture device. I'm going to scooch over here.
Yep.
So this is a slab roller, and you don't need to have a slab roller. I have some arthritis in my hand, so it makes it a little easier. You can also just, you know, form the clay. This gives you a little bit more discretion in how deep or how thick the clay will be. And it makes it a lot faster and easier for old ladies like me. So then you've got this slab, right? And again, remember I told you clay has memory?
Mm-hmm.
We want to sort of convince it to be flat. So we do this to it. And this is a very wet, sticky clay. So
What are you using right there?
So this is, I'm sorry, that's a good question. This is actually a half, or I should be using the full one. It's a little rubber, it's called a rib. You can use a credit card, you can use one of these metal pieces. It's just a rib, and it's just a way to flatten the clay. There's as many different ways to do it as there are potters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So then you would ideally, once you've got it flat, put a board on it. Put this back over here. And the reason I don't pick it up, like just pick up the clay, is again because it has that memory. So we don't want to do that. So we keep it flat on this board. There we go. Now we've got the other side. There. I'm going to flatten this side. There.
So it's almost like you're scoring it.
Well, scoring would be if I went like this, lots of little tiny lines, and then used some wet clay and stuck another piece onto it.
Oh.
So that would be scoring.
Does that help the clay stick together?
Yeah, so if I was making an edge or if I was putting a bottom on a cup, something like that, I would score it. Although this clay is super, super wet, so I probably need to.
Okay.
There. So this is kind of neat. I like to put this on the bottom of my plates.
Let's take a closer look at
Yeah,
that.
so it's like a little roly.
Is that something you made?
No, I could. I just haven't gotten around to doing that. And it makes, there. See how it
Oh,
makes that
wow, that's
texture?
really
Isn't that cool?
pretty.
Yeah. And there's a bunch of these out here that you can purchase, especially now with 3D printing. You know, folks are doing that a
Oh,
lot.
that looks seamless.
Isn't that cool? Yeah. So that's one. Now do I
So neat.
I have one that's, I did most of those with something else. Hold on, let me show you what the bottom of that looks like. Oh, here, you can look in here. Yeah, this is the drying cabinet. So everything has to dry at a fairly consistent temperature or it cracks
Mm-hmm.
or it warps. So this is the...
What a treasure.
It
Look at
worked.
all this cool stuff.
I wanted to see if I have one with that. I just started using it. So this one is drying. Yeah. So...
Oh. Oh, nice. So you use the roller, the
Yep.
patterned roller on the bottom.
Yep.
Now add your
Happy.
signature.
Yeah, see, I do have a signature.
That adds a nice texture to it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So that one's, so that one's, and it's got, all this stuff will come off when it fires. So.
That, like,
Kinda neat.
powder. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, all these other guys. Go ahead.
And tell me, so in one of your previous videos, I heard you mention that these plates that you're making are food safe and dishwasher safe. So tell
Yes.
me how they get to that.
So the next step is they go into the kiln for a second firing. This was their initial firing, it's called a bisque firing.
Yep.
The second firing is where I'll put a clear glaze on top of the tops of them, and that makes it food safe, and that makes it indestructible, or more indestructible. They can still break. So it goes right in the kiln, which is this big giant thing right here, which still has some pieces in it.
Awesome.
So yeah. So the kiln gets up to, I usually fire between 1800 and 2000 degrees. So
Yeah, that's pretty hot.
it's a little warm. And it takes forever when it's sunny and warm outside. So it took almost 30 hours for this last firing, which takes me forever. So a few sculpted pieces in here as well. Drying, waiting for things.
Now, were you saying that you use the paper
Yeah,
clay for
so
the
this is-
sculptures, like
yep.
on the top, or like
Yep.
the 3D ones?
Yeah, so like this guy, this little chicken in progress, she is paper clay.
Oh,
So
wow.
Let me show you where she will be.
It almost sounds like it's lightweight.
It is, because it has the paper in it, and the paper burns out, so it leaves it a much lighter clay, a much lighter fired clay. So she will be secured onto her shovel when she's done.
That's adorable.
Yeah. And she'll be safe in the garden, she'll be fine outside, rain, snow, she'll be fine.
Is she gonna be like a very cute scarecrow in your garden?
There you go. Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. So where was I? Oh, I was at the plates. Because I wanted to show you that. So, won't you lose?
My phone's shutting down. It's got too hot.
Oh.